2019 Genesis G70, look out, Germany. The Genesis G70 is hugely important for its maker, a sports sedan shouldering outsize expectations that it can stake a place for the nascent Korean luxury brand as a contender against the established players. But even Genesis itself admits that the world doesn't need more luxury cars. The world is fine without Genesis, brand chief Manfred Fitzgerald told us, and therefore the company says it needs to be daring and to make its products special and desirable. While the larger G80 and G90 already on sale are good, they don't break any new ground, and their genealogies include Hyundai-badged antecedents. The G70 line starts under Genesis, and that fact, along with its broader target audience, codifies its significance. Its ambitions for Genesis drove parent company Hyundai to poach leading figures from across the industry for its executive roster, including Fitzgerald, who previously served as the director of the Lamborghini brand, former Bentley and Lamborghini design chief Luc Donkerwolke, ex-GM and 5th-gen Chevrolet Camaro designer Sanjay Lee, and chassis guru and former BMW M head Albert Biermann. Their mission, make cars that are achingly beautiful and drive even better, a goalpost often raised by automakers but rarely cleared. As you'd expect, Genesis aims directly at the German triumvirate of Audi, BMW, and Mercedes, and the G70 targets those companies' A4, 3 Series, and C-Class. Its 184.4-inch overall length and 111.6-inch wheelbase put it right in the wheelhouse. The current F303 series was the dynamic bogey. We're not sure we'd have made the same selection, while the A4 and the C set the bars for refinement and luxury. We recently flew to Seoul to pore over the G70 and drive pre-production models at Hyundai's Namyang Proving Ground. The genesis of Genesis style. These photos show the Korea-spec G70 in production form. In person, the G70 looks cleanly designed with few fussy details. We'd hardly call the car audacious, apart from that whole Korean rear-drive sports sedan aiming to punch Germany in the mouth thing. But this is merely the first vehicle in a line that increasingly will push the stylistic envelope. For example, we're told the GV80 SUV coming in 2019 will be even more daring than the fairly bold concept shown earlier this year. That concept's headlights point to the direction the brand is taking, with the parallel tube-like running lamps of the G70 serving as an iterative step leading to the thin LED spec strips of the GV80. Donkerwolke says all Genesis lamps eventually will be as thin and as bright as possible, and he's keen to abandon traditional lighting clusters, which he derides as aquariums filled with shit. Eventually, things will get more adventurous, as Genesis vehicles develop radical light signatures that streak from the headlights, across the fenders, and toward the leading edges of the doors. The relative lack of overt boldness in the G70 in no way makes it unattractive. It's a flowing, athletic-looking thing, more in the mold of Alfa Romeo's Giulia or Infiniti's Q50 than the restrained BMW 3 Series or Audi A4, its three-quarter views defined by complex contours. It also isn't really the work of Donkerwolke, Lee, and the Genesis design team as constituted today. Those two came on board only about 18 months ago, well after the G70's final design had been frozen, and they were able only to tweak the fascias and push the roofline a little lower, adjustments that Fitzgerald says were a big help. Biermann, having joined the company earlier, likely had more effect on the dynamic tuning. The next Genesis product, and the first to be more fully molded by this group, will be the next-gen G80, which is due in 2019. Like the lights, the G70's grille is an intermediate step toward a brasher look. In the previews we saw, the future grille both echoed the central crest of the Genesis logo and resembled the face shield of a knight's helm. The shape is similar to that used by Cadillac and Mazda, but Lee told us the grille eventually will extend lower and be larger overall than those brands. A slat in the lower intake actually traces the bottom of the future grille's shape.